What if I told you that the milestone charts, the development tracking apps, and those well-meaning questions from family about when your baby will crawl or walk are actually distractions from what really matters? I spent countless hours worrying about my first child's movement milestones, only to discover something I wish I'd known from the beginning. I'm Sarah, and what I'm about to share might save you months of unnecessary worry and comparison. I remember sitting in a mother's group when my son was 7 months old. One by one, each mother proudly announced their baby's latest achievement. Mia started crawling at 6 months. Jacob pulled himself up last week. When it was my turn, I felt that knot in my stomach. My son wasn't crawling yet. He wasn't even showing interest in being on all fours. I smiled and said, "Aiden is taking his time," but inside I was panicking. That night, I spent hours on Google. I downloaded 3 different milestone tracking apps. I ordered special toys designed to encourage crawling. I even found myself on page 5 of search results, reading obscure studies about early movement and future athletic ability. I became obsessed with getting my son to crawl on time. 2 weeks later, I brought it up with our pediatrician, Dr. Bennett, who had been practicing for over 30 years. What she told me changed everything. "Sarah," she said, looking over her glasses, "in all my years working with thousands of children, I've never once asked an adult at what age they learned to crawl or walk. And no job application I've ever seen asks for your crawling date." She showed me her well-worn copy of developmental guidelines and pointed to the wide range for crawling, anywhere from 6 to 10 months, with some perfectly healthy babies skipping crawling altogether. "These aren't deadlines," she explained. "They're patterns we've observed. The problem isn't babies developing at their own pace. It's our modern obsession with tracking, comparing, and accelerating natural processes." What my doctor helped me understand, and what developmental research confirms, is that movement emerges naturally when 3 elements align: physical readiness, neurological development, and motivation. Each child's unique combination of these factors creates their own perfect timeline. I've worked with hundreds of families through my parenting support groups, and I've seen this truth play out time and again. The babies whose parents were most anxious about meeting milestones weren't necessarily the ones who developed faster, but their parents definitely experienced more stress and less joy. Here's what I wish someone had told me. First, movement is not linear. My son didn't crawl conventionally at all. He developed his own efficient little scoot, something between a roll and a shuffle that got him where he needed to go. He was moving, just not in the way I expected. Second, early doesn't equal advanced. Dr. Adele Diamond, a leading developmental cognitive neuroscientist, has demonstrated that there's no correlation between early achievement of movement milestones and later cognitive or physical abilities. A baby who walks at 10 months isn't more likely to excel in sports or academics than one who walks at 14 months. Third, milestone pressure robs you of present joy. Those months I spent worrying about crawling were months I wasn't fully appreciating who my child already was. I remember visiting my grandmother, who raised 8 children in Jamaica without a single baby book or developmental app. When I expressed my concerns about my son's crawling, she laughed gently and said, "Child, when did we get so worried about these things? Babies are like mangoes. They ripen when they're ready, not when you want them to." Her wisdom echoes what anthropologists have observed in traditional cultures around the world. Development happens without all our modern tracking and intervention. In fact, research by pediatrician Meredith Small shows that in many cultures, where crawling isn't emphasized, children develop walking at similar ages to Western babies. So here's what actually helps support natural movement development. Give your baby plenty of floor time on different surfaces. My second child experienced everything from cool tile to plush carpet to warm sand at the beach. Each texture provides different sensory information that helps build body awareness. Notice what motivates your unique child. My daughter was motivated by her older brother. She wanted to chase him. My son was motivated by our cat. He developed his unusual scooting method, trying to catch her tail. Place interesting objects just beyond their reach, but resist the urge to position their bodies for them. Create an environment that invites movement rather than restricting it. I put away the exerciser and baby walker after learning they can actually delay natural movement development. Instead, I arranged our living room with stable furniture at different heights that invited pulling up when my babies were ready. Trust the process and trust your child. Their bodies contain ancient wisdom about how to develop. Our role isn't to teach them how to move. It's to create spaces where they feel safe to discover movement themselves. If you're still concerned, know the true red flags that warrant professional attention: significant asymmetry in movement, loss of previously acquired skills, or extreme muscle tightness or limpness. But even then, early intervention is about supporting natural development, not accelerating it. I wish I could go back and tell my anxious first-time mom self, your baby isn't behind. He isn't failing. He's perfectly, uniquely himself, unfolding according to his own internal blueprint. When my son finally did walk at 14 months, right in the middle of the normal range, he did it with confidence and joy. He never looked back to check if his timing matched some chart in a baby book. And neither should we. If you found this helpful, check out our comprehensive guide, Supporting Natural Movement, on our website. I've included developmental support activities for each stage from birth to walking that focus on creating the conditions for movement to emerge naturally, rather than pushing skills before your baby is ready. Thank you so much for watching. Much love. See you in the next video.